a lot for joining today's session on career choices in cybersecurity for technical and non-technical roles. I'll be sharing in brief why cybersecurity can be a very good career option and what it takes to get into cybersecurity. For anybody who wants to touch base with me, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. First, a little bit about myself. So I'm an executive committee member for one of the cybersecurity group called CSCIS. So using which I get a chance to learn from other security practitioners on the IoT security stuff. Apart from that, I'm associated with ISC Squared Singapore chapter as well, where I get a chance to learn a little bit around cloud security. And I got a chance to mentor some of the youngsters who just started their career on cybersecurity. In my day job, I'm working as a solution engineer for a company named Garg, and I help out the customers primarily securing their identity security, which is nothing but their username and passwords and any kind of identity information. So across their entire business applications. So last but not the least, I have gotten more than 11 years of experience in cybersecurity. I started my career with IT company, spent around 3 years before I got into cybersecurity. That's enough about me. The first question comes, why you should get into the cybersecurity? Hey, how much investments are going into the cybersecurity industry? So let's look into the investments first. So the first article is coming from the Straits Times, and it indicates that Singapore is planning to invest almost $1 billion on the cybersecurity for over the next 3 years. And it is a huge amount. And the second article is coming from Singapore Business Review, which state that in 2021, Singapore is planning to invest $50 million in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. I think it's going to happen over a period of 2 years, 21 and 2022. And then from the global perspective, some of the very big companies like Google and Microsoft, they committed to invest around $30 billion on security in next 5 years. And you may know that both companies, their APAC headquarters are based out in Singapore. And some portion of these investments will come to Singapore for sure. So now the next question is, how about the jobs? How many number of jobs are available in cybersecurity? So I did a LinkedIn search yesterday, and to my surprise, there are more than 1,800 jobs got posted in last 1 month. And if you think about it, that's a very good number. Again, there might be few jobs may not posted on the LinkedIn. They might be available on some other job portals. So if you think about it, there might be around 2,000 jobs in total across all the different job platforms in cybersecurity. Then how about salary? On the Singapore Job Outlook, we can see that the average salary for IT folk is around $80,000 Singapore dollars. However, if we look at the right-hand side, and this data came from IMDA, salaries in cybersecurity generally tend to be 20% higher. And here, average salary for cybersecurity practitioners are more than $100,000, which is a very good amount. So let's look into the cybersecurity domains from outside. So many times cybersecurity looks very small, but once you go inside, you will see there are hundreds of fields out there. And the amount of opportunities, as we see on the LinkedIn job search, so there can be a huge number of opportunities. Just to give you some context, so I'm working on a privileged access management. Within this specific industry, there are like 6 to 7 companies out there. If I talk about identity management, the broader domain, In particular, there are like 30 to 40 companies based out in Singapore. Apart from that, so there are a few other interesting domains like risk assessment and governance. So all these fields are ever evolving. So in terms of the domains, so there can be a wide range of domains and you can pick and choose depending upon your interest. So let's look into some of the non-technical cybersecurity roles. What are the different roles available? I just put together some of the most common roles, what I typically see. Again, you might see a different names. So depending upon the companies. So the first role is called sales. As the name suggests, this role is primarily involved to bring in sales for the company. The second one is marketing, where you are supposed to run the marketing events to bring in the leads for your company. And once you bring in the lead, then there is another function called ISR. So ISR person may call up the person to understand about the requirements, about the budget, and then they will further qualify it before they hand it over to the sales team. The third role is called channels, where channel person is responsible to manage very big system integrators like ST, NCS, and what this SIS does, they help the vendor companies to sell their solutions or to sell their products to the end customers. Last role is called product manager, which can be a little bit technical. So here you will have someone understand and gather the market requirement and then bring it back to your R&D team. So let's look into some of the commonly available roles in the technical side. So the first role is called solution sales. So which is I'm personally doing for my company. In this role, I'm supposed to understand the customer's pain point and then guide them on how my company solution can meet the requirements or can solve their pain points. The second role is more onto the researcher side. So in the penetration testing, which is very popular, so you will be tasked to find out the gaps, you will be tasked to find out the vulnerabilities within your internal environment or the customer's environment. The third role is called post-sales. So once customer buys your product, then if they face any kind of a problem or issues, then they can reach out to the support engineer to seek his or her guidance. The last role is called R&D. So where you're supposed to do software programming, to develop any kind of a cybersecurity product or some other product, or you will be tasked to do QA and find out the bugs before you launch the product to the market. So we have talked about the salaries, we talked about the investments, we talked about the job profiles. So the next question comes, what it takes to get into the cybersecurity role or cybersecurity industry. So I personally believe that we all should have all these three simple qualities to do any kind of job in our life. It doesn't matter whether it is cybersecurity or any other industry. So attitude plays a very big part in our success. Again, whatever we sign up for, we should always put our best foot forward and don't look back. The second is curiosity. It could be very important for the technical cybersecurity roles. If we are curious, really curious, then it will generally lead to many more opportunities and many more learnings. So last but not the least could be very important for cybersecurity non-technical role or the salesperson. Always try to go out and build relationship with people or whomsoever you meet. So that's how we can grow in our career. And that's one of the ways. So most of the time you can find a career opportunities in the cybersecurity industry. So when it comes to the cybersecurity non-technical role, so you shall be primarily helping out companies to bring new leads or to close the opportunities. So there are a few skill sets you should have. The first category is called general skills. So here are the few things what I have listed, but I want to point out two main skill sets. So person should have communication and global mindset. So communication is very important whenever you are working with any organization. It can help you to reduce the gap and can bring more clarity on whatever you do. The second thing is we should have a global mindset. As cybersecurity is a very small industry still, and you will be interacting with people from dozens of different countries. And as we know, so each person, they have their own thought process, the way they were born and brought up, and the way they worked in a different environment. So we should appreciate and we should respect each other's thought process. In terms of the skills and competency, so there are two main things I just want to highlight: the business need analysis and the market research. Again, both of these things can go hand in hand. So whatever you try to sell and market, we should understand the fact there should be some market out there. On this point, so what I personally do, I reach out to the folks in other regions or within the Singapore region and try to understand from them how do they sell and position of a product and the solution and why customer is buying it. What's the reason? And once I understand that, I try to replicate or try to implement the same thing in my own region as well. So other approach is to go online and read some of the reports by analyst companies like Gartner, Forresters. It will give you some ideas on the trends, on the market trends. So lastly, on some of the higher skills and competencies, so especially for the marketing personnel, so you might be running marketing campaigns involving like multiple things. So the whole idea is if company invest like $100 on any marketing event, they might expect you to bring in at least $500 to $1,000 worth of business for your company. Apart from that, you will be collaborating, you will be coordinating with all the different marketing companies, and running a physical or virtual events is always fun. So then how about the technical roles? So the first scenario is I put it into two different scenarios. The first scenario is in case you don't have any IT background at all. In such cases, there are few steps I believe you can consider. The first step is you can enroll onto some of the very basic IT courses in the skills future. So once you got some background knowledge in IT, then you can consider signing up for some of the cybersecurity courses, a degree or diploma, whatever you like. So there are so many options out there. I just listed some of the options. Cybersecurity courses are being offered by most of the polytechnic institutes. Apart from that, you will see there are some of the courses available in Kaplan and Mud-Dodge on the cybersecurity. And the second scenario is in case you already have some sort of a IT background. So you don't have to go through whatever I mentioned in the scenario one. So here, what you can do, you can simply sign up for one of the security certification and start learning on the security side. So I have personally signed up like for some of the online courses in Udemy and a couple of other websites where you can learn anything in a step-by-step approach. And they do provide some sort of a labs to you. And then you can go through all the labs to understand the basics. And once you do that, then what you can do, there are a lot of security certifications out there like CSCIS, CSCIA, depending upon your interest. And lastly, what you can do, you should join some of the security interest group like CSCIS, AiSP Squared. So once you join all these groups, you will get a chance to learn from other security practitioners, and slowly you can see how you can get into the cybersecurity industry. So now we talked about like quite a number of things. So then the question comes, hey, what are the top cybersecurity companies you guys can aim for? Again, there are like hundreds of cybersecurity companies in Singapore. Each company hired for a wide range of role depending upon what kind of business they do. Just to give you some perspective. So these are the few top cybersecurity companies you guys can aim for. Again, as we all know, it's more like a journey. Once you kickstart your security career, and slowly you can get into one of these companies. So just to conclude, there are so many options out there in cybersecurity. You can consider some of the things what I shared. Either in cybersecurity, you will be selling the security tools or you will be using it. In both cases, salaries are quite good. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching this short video.